Before we get started in the video, I just want to quickly mention that 99% of viewers are not subscribed, so please consider subscribing if you enjoy this content or you want to see more in the future. It's free, and you can always unsubscribe later. Thank you. Enjoy the video. So, you've made it past 100 hours, and you've left the bronzes behind. Where do you go from here? In this video, we'll be going over some tips and advice I have for players wanting to reach those new heights and new ranks. These are the things that I've done in my time playing, and you'll see how I progress throughout the video as well in the gameplay. Only a few of these clips are early on in the 100 hour to 300 hour range. Most of them are about 150 hours plus into the game. I wasn't able to get those early clips as well, but even so, it's still some education for you. So without any further ado, let's get started. Now before we even get into the mechanics and the complex stuff, let's go over some basic stuff and other topics. Let's head into options. First off, it's important to note that I'm on PC. I switched to PC around just a little bit over 100 hours into my game. I recommend you get to PC if you haven't already. I understand may not be available for everyone. Now, first things first is the camera. My camera settings as well as my controls, the controller settings and everything, it's all modeled after personal preference, the professional player Squishy Muffin, and a YouTuber I watch a lot in the Rocket League community named Thanovic. You don't have to use these settings, however, I think they're great. Let's go into what each is. First, we have camera shake. You're going to want that off. Field of view all the way up, or 105 is also good. 105 to 110 is definitely where you want it. I wouldn't do like 106, I'd probably just do one or the other. Distance, I like to use 270. I don't know the variants. I could link some stuff for you guys in the comments, in the description rather, so you can get some variants on all these. But next we have height. I use 100, angle -4, 0.60, 4.70, 1.20, interval swivel on. Controls. Go to our bindings. It's important to know that I use a PS4 controller. It may look like Xbox, but it's a PS4 controller. All this stuff basic. I use jump as circle or B. Boost is A/X. Power slide is not X, it is actually square. I don't know why it says that. Oh, because X is square on the... Okay, got it. Air roll, I use left bumper or L1. That's the just normal air roll, either direction. And air roll left. I would use air roll left or right. Some people use both. I use air roll left on square as well. And that about does it for the importance in this section. Only other things to note is steering sensitivity, aerial sensitivity, control dead zone, dodge dead zone. These are the settings I use. I don't have vibration on, and that about does it for the options, okay? Alright, moving on to the next step. This is a very crucial step. And this step is simple. Make some friends. You definitely cannot do this alone. You could, but I don't recommend it. Meet some people, put yourself out there, get on comms, and have a good time. It's important to meet people. Personally, I used Reddit, and I solo queued in comp, and that's how I found the people that I found that you'll see in my videos. These guys are my friends. We play every day, and they've definitely helped me get farther in the game. In addition to that point, this is kind of the similar realm. It's important to have a coach, someone who can look over your replays, your gameplay, and figure out where you can improve and what you're doing wrong, and what decisions you made in those replays. Now I understand not everyone has a GC buddy laying around like I do. That's okay, but there's plenty of people out there that are better than you and can give you some advice. Even if it's something small, it could really make a difference. Okay, now let's get into the mechanical side of things. First up is half flips. I think half flips are the most important mechanic that you could learn in this realm, this 100 hour to 300 hour realm. I definitely would recommend learning it first. It's the first mechanic I learned that's like an actual mechanic. Half flips were very hard for me to get at first, but after about a week, I was able to implement them into games, and after about a month, I was actually doing them consistently in game. If you want a tutorial and things like that to do them, I will link everything in the description throughout this video on tutorials and training packs. Before I go any further into mechanics, it's important to note that I think free play and doing 1v1s is super important to your growth and development as a player. Free play is just a great opportunity for you to practice whatever you need to practice, and 1v1s is a lot like that, except you have another player battling you. I think these are great ways to improve yourself, and it's something I used a lot. Next mechanic is catching the ball, which leads straight into ground dribbles and flicks. You cannot flick the ball or ground dribble unless you catch the ball. To catch the ball, again, tutorials, however, I'll explain briefly. You just get right under the circle of the ball, it goes right in front of the car, you'll catch it, it goes right in front of you, or to go on the side, and that's how you start the dribble. Next mechanic is probably the most important, aside from half flips, and that's fast aerials. If you can't hit the ball in the air, you're never going to get to those higher ranks, or even the middle ranks. You have to be able to hit the ball in the air, and fast aerials are the way to go. In addition to fast aerials, you have air rolling. It's important to learn at least the basics of air rolling and how it affects your car in the air. And one super important thing to know about fast aerials and air rolling is that when you're air rolling, before you hit the ball, you'll actually not bounce off the ball and recoil as much. And that allows you to get consecutive hits or even dribble the ball into the goal or get it to a point where you can pass it off to a teammate. Next up is wall play. This is just backboard clears, clearing it out of your corner, or banging it off the wall in the enemy corner to a center pass, things like that. It's important to understand how to hit the ball on the wall, and even if you can't do it much, which I still can't, it's important to try, which leads straight into my next point, which is putting yourself in a comfortable spots and doing things that are hard. Practice is practice, but it's important to even implement that in games, to put yourself in hard positions and challenge yourself, or else you'll never get better. My next tip is going into rotations and positioning. Again, it helps to have a coach here. There's videos out there that can help you on that. And the biggest thing also I would recommend is analyzing your replays, seeing what led to a goal on your side, on the enemy side, and how you could have better prevented that, or better shot, or passed, things like that. This goes into rotations and positioning as well. It is boost management and pathing. Sometimes it may be easier to go to that 100 boost, but because of how far it puts you out of the play, it can actually be worse in the long run. So it's important to understand when you can go for 100 boost and when you cannot. And it's also important to understand the pathing of the pads that are around the map, because there will be many situations where you'll need to get pads and stay in the play rather than go for 100 boost. My next two things are just two philosophies I think that are very important. One of which is hitting the ball in a way where you can follow it up, / going for more than one hit. If you start doing this, it'll drastically improve your gameplay, because a lot of times people just bang the ball away, or they don't have a plan of what to do next. If you have a plan of what to do next with that ball, you're hitting it in a way where you can follow it up before the enemy gets to it. That's huge, and that's going to make a huge difference in your team. The last thing I recommend is practicing an advanced mechanic. Now, what I mean by an advanced mechanic is something like a ceiling shot, wall to air dribble, a flip reset, something like that. Me personally, I chose wall to air dribble, and that is what I learned to do. I'm actually at the point now where I can do this probably 60% of the time in game. They may not always be productive, but the fact that I can go off the wall and comfortably dribble the ball somewhere is huge, because it's not only the advanced mechanic that's going to be helpful in your gameplay, it's the journey that got you to be good at that advanced mechanic. Because if we look into what a wall to air dribble is, it's you being comfortable reading the ball on the wall being able to hit it off the wall, and being able to control the car in the air to dribble the ball in a certain way. And you can take that with any mechanic. The journey to learn that mechanic is just as important as learning the mechanic. That about does it for my advice. Thank you guys for watching this far. I hope you enjoyed. Please let me know what you think in the comments, and there'll be more to come in the future.